Yes, we can.
So we've talked about vitamin D, we've talked about PTH. So now we're going to talk about something that's actually not well discussed. I might have missed the key data on this, but I don't think so. So it's all about time to benefit with the new treatment. Just to catch up, because there are some new people here possibly, so everyone's on the same page. We have the old treatments that basically, if you think of your kidneys like a bucket, and the XLH builds too many holes in the bucket, so you just keep leaking your phosphate. The old treatment was just, well, it's easy, just add another tap and pour more phosphate into the system. Never really worked in adults. And then we have Burosumab, an antibody that removes FGF23 and basically seals the bucket so you not leak anything inappropriately. And what I've noticed is that um, it's very variable how people get on with Burosumab when they start. And I don't quite understand why. And hopefully by the end of this, I still won't understand why, but I might have some pointers of what to do. So this was the original study that we're involved in, and we had some people in this study. Basically, it was an adult study, so adults with XLH who had to stop their phosphate and activated vitamin D. They had to have at least 4+ pain in the last 7 days, and then they were randomized to either get placebo, so fake injection, or to actually get Burosumab. And there were 66 people who got placebo and 68 people who got Burosumab. And that was a really massive undertaking in a rare bone disease. And this is the result on the blood test. And why am I showing you blood results? So it's actually quite interesting what happened. So this is the phosphate level at the midpoint between the injections. So 2 weeks after each injection, it's an injection every 4 weeks. And this was the phosphate level at the end of dosing. And you can see and don't worry about the units, these are American units and not the units we use in the UK. But if red is the like below the reference range, the red line are the people who just got the fake injections, and obviously nothing happened. They still stayed with low phosphate. But you can see how everyone who got the Burosumab got better. And these sort of funny black lines are the sort of box and whiskers, the sort of how variable it is. And you can see nearly everybody did really well. So when you take this drug, loads of people, well, nearly everyone, as I'll show you, moderate, sort of recovered biochemically. So their blood got better. A little bit different at the end of the 4 weeks. Obviously, it's not as high as the midpoint. That's where the most of the benefit is. It is wearing off. Time for the next injection, but still much better than the red line. And about 94%, that's a lot of adults, normalized their mid-range phosphate throughout the study. That's amazing because everyone's different sizes. I know it's done by weight, but weight's quite a crude measure. Some people might have bigger bones or smaller bones than other people. So they're all normalized. But when we look at the effect on symptoms, it's a little bit different. So this is the effect on pain. And just like before, blue is Burosumab and red is the fake injection. And you can see, and this caused a little bit of an issue, both groups got improvements in pain. And basically, when you give anyone an injection, some people get a placebo effect. But you can see those black lines are a little bit wider. They're not as tight, and there was a bit more variability in response. And lines got wider apart the longer you're on. So the placebo effect sort of bottomed out at a third of a difference, whereas the Brosmab was at zero point 0.8 of a difference, which is quite a lot. And then it's even bigger for stiffness. For stiffness, actually, it didn't really change. So even though they stopped their calcium, vitamin D, the stiffness didn't change in the fake injection, but got a lot better. But you can see how wide it is. It's not like everyone had the average. Almost like some people had a little bit of stiffness improvement, and some people had a lot of stiffness improvement. So there's a lot of variability in change. So kind of for the same uh, biology test, lab test, you're getting a variable difference in stiffness. And then this is the effect on fracture healing, which is actually really important and actually led to the reimbursement, a big impact on the reimbursement. These are people who've had pseudo fractures for years. And you can see 20% had healed by 3 months and 43% had healed by 6 months. That's not bad. It wasn't 100% healed within 6 months, and that's to be sure. But these are very long-standing fractures. So actually, it's really impressive. And you can see just giving fake injections, this is sort of the rate of healing. It's about 7% over 6 months. So this is what I see in my clinic. NICE have said all adults can have Burosumab. So I do have some people who have very few symptoms, but they've seen their parents and grandparents get really badly affected by SLH, and they go, I don't want that. So they want to use it to prevent symptoms. That's fine. They go in with few symptoms, nothing really changes. They still have a few symptoms, but that's kind of the point. I don't want them to get symptoms. Way more people come in because they've got symptoms. And you can kind of divide them up, and I don't even know what the ratio is, but uh, a bunch of people find no difference initially. In the first few months, they don't feel any difference. Some people actually do say, you know what, after the first few injections, I actually felt a bit more energy. Not usually pain that gets better, they just feel a bit more energy. But then there's this group of people, and they just say, look, I'm actually getting worse, I'm getting more tired and more pain. And that's kind of tricky for us. And when you look at that group, there's kind of two subgroups in there. So there are a few people who just get like a massive amount of pain. They get severe chest, back, or neck pain. It can last 1 to 3 months, and it is really bad. I've had some people who had to go into morphine and just ridden it out, and we don't understand why that happens. Way more people just say, look, I just feel more tired and a bit more achy. I'm not feeling better. I'm not feeling it. And people start feeling guilty. They're saying, well, I should be working. Why am I feeling better within months? Why is it making me worse? And we really don't know why this is. Is it a side effect of the Burosumab? If it's a side effect of the Burosumab, do we need to give them less? Is it because their body needs more Burosumab? The blood level isn't really doing it. We've got to push their phosphate higher. We don't actually know what is the right phosphate level. We say it's going to be the normal range. Well, the normal range is actually quite large for phosphate. It can almost be, it's a really wide, it's not a narrow normal range, it's quite wide. Um, is it actually a good thing? Are they getting symptoms because in some way their bones are healing and it's part of the healing process and no pain, no gain? Or is it nothing to do with the bones and a reaction of the body to a normal phosphate? Is it something else that's reacting? And it's really important we find out because it's kind of nice to say to people, look, we've done these tests or these measurements. I reckon you're going to be no different for a while, and then you'll get better. I reckon you're going to feel better really soon. Look, you're likely to get a bit of a rough induction, maybe a few months, but it will get better. And when it's rough, I think you might get a flare of pain, or you might just have tiredness. And tiredness is actually quite disabling, and it does actually affect your head. When everyone else seems to be getting better on the drug and you're just lagging behind, it can be quite. Some of the people I work with, they don't like it. It's very upsetting. So it could advise people, but also if we understand why it's happening, we can make people get better sooner. We can say, look, for you, we're going to aim for a higher phosphate. Maybe for you, we're going to aim for a lower phosphate. We've got to go slow with you. Or maybe it's something else we can give you. Maybe it's another supplement. Maybe it's something to do with another part of the phosphate and calcium axis. Is there something else to do? And this is why, and I know I keep going on about this is why the Rudy study is so important, because we're one of the few countries. Most European adults have no access to Burosumab. So if you live in other parts of Europe, you can't get Burosumab once you finish puberty. It's just not available. And the whole point of this study is to show that actually, if you do give it to adults, they get better, and they get better in different groups, more than the 68 adults who are in the study. And what we really want are people who are about to start Burosumab, fill in all the questionnaires, because they do include things like mental health, that might be important, they include physical health. And then we can plot how you do in every 6 months and just see, well, you're a responder, you're not really responding very quickly, or there's something else going on. There is lots of other potential areas, but that's where I wanted to finish and connect with you all and see what you all think. I think there are some questions in the chat, but happy to take any questions. Fiona's on the call as well. For those who don't know her, Fiona's the new clinical fellow. Well, not so new. She's been here since February. It's amazing since she's already been here. She's already started a lot of work, but she's very keen to sort this out as well.
I just being friendly. I am on the call. I'm trying to put my camera on. Hello, I'm babysitting as well.
Oh, hi! You have a baby competition. So
Yeah, he likes to join in. I think he's going to be a doctor in XLH by the time we're done with all of this, but we are here.